Okay, I'm Jon Johnson from Strip the Willow and now Reach Homes, which I'll tell you all about. We all know there's a crisis in affordable housing. Whole generations, including lots of people studying at the university at the moment, who are never going to be able to afford their own home. They're going to be stuck in rented accommodation and really struggling to enjoy all the things that home ownership brings. This is not just about home ownership. I don't think I'm a Thatcherite by any means. There's 150,000 people renting in Sheffield. Similar number of a shortfall of housing in Yorkshire and Humber, and yeah, it's a problem. So from the recycling social enterprises I've been running for the last 3.5 years, and an imperative from my family that we had to build ourselves a new house, we started playing around with some Lego and some ideas about environmental issues, which it was at the time because I'm still very new to this. And we came up with a plan for, originally it was going to be a 4-bedroom, 3,200 square foot house, which obviously is not affordable or sustainable. But when we looked at the cost of that and brought it down to a 2-bedroom house and looked at some alternative methods of construction and priced up shipping containers, realised that we were onto something which might just solve the housing crisis. So one of the first things that sprang to mind was, why is nobody else doing this? Because it's a commercial thing, there's money to be made out of it. Why is it not already mainstream? And there are 1 or 2 people who are coming up with some alternatives. No traction, there's no widespread market for those products particularly. There's a few more people getting involved in the market since I did this. This is an earlier version of my presentation. So since I did this, people like Legal and General have come on board. They've got a £60 million factory at Sherburn and Elmet now producing cross-laminated timber sectional modular buildings. They're backed by pension companies, which gives you an idea where they're coming from. But their approach to affordable housing, the first house that came out of that factory was a 5-bedroom detached house that was going down to Berkshire. So yeah, they're not interested in the affordable side of things. Nobody's interested in the eco side of things, particularly because the government has scrapped the code for sustainable homes. They've scrapped the zero carbon hub. Developers have no imperative whatsoever to put any kind of eco features into houses. So totally unintentionally, what I've come up with a plan for here has turned out to be fairly cutting edge, and it's news to me, but I'm very happy with the idea. So having got an idea, in typical bull-headed fashion, I went ahead and approached Unlimited, who are a social enterprise funder down in London. They lent me £5,000. Well, they gave me 5 grand, which I bought the shipping container there on the lorry. That's 11th of July last year when it arrived. Up at Healy City Farm, which is, if anybody knows, it's just a couple of miles up the road. They've very, very kindly lent us a piece of land, open-ended at the moment, to develop this on. And that's me learning how to use a steel saw. I've learned quite a lot of things in the last 18 months. That's probably the most dangerous. I don't ever show that to a health and safety officer. Thank you, right, I'll whiz through this. Yeah, so we've converted that shipping container into a 1-bedroom, 320 square foot studio, which will retail for £35,000. It's Passive House standard, and I've got a master's level student from architecture doing some atmospheric quality work on that at the moment, and he's put it through the PHPP calculations, and he's proved that once we put triple glazing in that, we've cracked Passive House, and that will be a world first Passive House certified development when we do it. That's our path to success. I just thought it was a really nice slide. This presentation actually got me 10 grand from UK Steel, whose offices are just next door there, bless them. It's coincidences. This whole thing has been a coincidence right from me opening the business up. But yeah, so what we have now, that's a dirty word. So yeah, so many reasons why this is a much better way of doing housing than the way the housing industry have been doing it forever. They provide a product. The customer buys the product at a vastly marked up price, and the housing industry go away and count their millions, and all the other people who are making millions out of it. Or there's all the land banking that's going on, all the negative things that's creating the constipation in the housing industry that I'm hoping to change. So that's the model of our 2-bedroom house. That will retail for about £65,000. They use 60 to 80% recycled materials. Off-site manufacturing, we're going to be building them on brownfield sites or slinging RSJs over rivers and putting them over water courses, and then we can have water wheels underneath them as well as the solar panels. They're 90% independent for their own energy generation. We're working on proving how nice they feel to live in. So from a series of accidents, we've come up with a viable solution to affordable housing. I'm talking to funders at the moment. We're on the verge of our first land deal, and I'm looking at 8 other landlords and landowners who are between them potentially going to put in orders for 600 to 800 houses within the next 12 months. So welcome to the housing industry, John. If anybody's got any comments or anything about how we can make it better, the whole thing is lovely circular economy on it. We want to put them on beautifully landscaped developments using co-housing models, and Nigel Dunnett from the university, if anybody knows him, he's a world-class landscaper. He's down at Chelsea Flower Show at the minute. When he comes back, he's coming to see us about landscaping the sites. Everybody I've spoken to about it so far is really excited and interested about getting involved with it, because it really is going to disrupt the housing industry. It's going to make a big difference economically, because people who can move into these, the kind of client groups we're looking at working with, South Yorkshire Housing Association, Rotherham Council, Sheffield Council, a number of other people who are doing housing for vulnerable groups, care leavers, people who are not getting much in the way of housing benefit, renting them out at a very, very affordable rent. They pay themselves back within about 12 years, so they are a good investment for the right kind of investors. They're going to be legally protected so that landlords can't buy them up, because I don't want them going off out into the market. They're going to stay in that affordable niche in the housing market where there's nothing at the moment, and just give an opportunity for people to get out of rented accommodation, stop giving the money away to landlords, and that money stays in the lower section of the economy and gives people the opportunity to do with it as they wish, rather than what the money people are telling them they've got to do with it. Thank you very much.